zone. He gets the try.
The Red 78.
We're both Munster people.
Carberry gets over the line. Try from Munster.
Nobody knows Munster rugby better.
Hello and welcome along. I'm Alan Quinlan and you're listening to episode 73 of the Red 78 here on the Rugby channel, and with me as always is Niamh Briggs. A very, very happy podcast this week, Niamh. We've had a few ups and downs during the season. Lovely consistent run in the middle, but the start was tough, but the end is sweet, isn't it?
100%. I like the fact that unknowns to ourselves, we both were different shades of kind of red. But look, it was an incredible ending to, like, realistically an unbelievable season really on paper when you look at a new coaching ticket coming in. They didn't have any say over how pre-season was structured, getting up to speed, the first 5 games, and to as you say, have those little peaks and troughs, which is brilliant, because when you get into those little moments of doubt or struggle, and to be able to get back out of it creates a huge amount of resilience. And I think it's because of those little peaks and troughs over the season, we've shown a huge amount of resilience over the last 5 or 6 weeks. So brilliant. What a win. Oh my God, it was incredible. I was buzzing on Saturday evening watching it. I'd have given anything to be over in South Africa. I know you were there with your mother, of course. I hope you found her. Yeah, look, unbelievable. So happy for everybody involved. So happy.
Where did you watch the match?
We watched at home. We had the UL Bows Centenary Ball on Saturday evening in Castroy Park, so they had big screens on there for everybody that was watching it. But in true fashion, I couldn't watch that in public because I'd have been roaring and shouting at television. So I watched it at home, and then we hightailed it up to the ball. So it was hilarious. And my sitting room was full of people in tuxes and dresses watching a rugby match. It was just the funniest thing ever. But no, and then the night was buzzing after it. You know, Paulie spoke, Barry Murphy was emceeing for a part of it. It was just like Dave Kilcoyne's dad was there, and everybody was just really buzzing. So it was brilliant. It was brilliant. So good.
It feels a bit surreal, doesn't it, given the start of the season and all that, and just the way the team have grown and the way they've progressed and kind of had to do it the hard way at the end of the season. I think obviously Leinster opened the door with their selection. I'm not taking anything away from Munster, but the door was open and Munster went through it. And obviously they had to perform in the final then to win the trophy. But it's really unbelievable. It wasn't long ago we were analysing the Glasgow game back at the end of March, thinking, are they going to make the knockout stages? Are they going to make Europe next year? And then obviously they went to South Africa and they got 2 brilliant results there. They really gelled as a group. I think they fixed the issues and the problems they would have had around that period. It wasn't just a Glasgow game. It was probably the concession of 42 points against Scarlets in Cork, then the Champions Cup in Durban in that heat, and there was issues around breakdown, physicality, maul defence, all that kind of stuff. So it wasn't looking good, and that's the reality. So it even makes it more. You've got to tip your hat to this squad and the coaches, the way they've kind of fixed things on the run, done it the hard way, and obviously, to win it in the end. The scenes there, I was in Cape Town. It was just really special. We talk about the fan involvement.
I was just going to ask you. Sorry, I was just going to ask you. You were there, like. Obviously, this big, huge stadium, sold out, loads of Stormers fans, and you could hear the constant. I don't know if you could hear it because you were doing commentary, but on the TV, you could just hear the constant Munster. You could hear the constant, like, what an incredible thing. When they beat Leinster a couple of weeks beforehand, my dad texted me. He was definitely after having a few beers in the local. It was like, will we go to South Africa? I just couldn't work at work this week, but I just think the amount of people on 2 weeks' notice to be able to get over there for that kind of trip is just, it speaks about what's special about this club. We speak often to the players that I'm coaching at the moment about what makes Munster so special. Why do you love playing for them? You come home from Ireland, why do you eat camps and you're mad to get back into Munster? Like, what is it? And I know it's different for everybody, but there's just something very special, isn't there?
Yeah, there's obviously something very special about it. It was just incredible to be there, Niamh, and to see on the journey out all the Munster fans traveling different ways. People, when you get there, you meet people from America, Australia, the Middle East, the UK, Canada. Unbelievable. You know, I met two guys from America who had kind of got an internal flight from Nashville to New York, and then New York to Cape Town, and just the excitement to be there, and the lens. Obviously, the financial hit here for people. You say it's 2 weeks, but really a lot of these people had probably 2 days to make up their mind after the Leinster game on the Saturday night. So,
Yeah.
I think there was 50,000 going on Saturday night after a few drinks, and then that obviously when people go home and they look at the bank balance and the cost and start searching flights, and flights went up. But the crowd that was there, you know, I don't know the exact numbers. They said it was during the week it could have been 5,000, but it probably wasn't that. It was probably 2,000 to 3,000. But the noise they made, and the efforts they made to go there, and look, it reminded me genuinely of the, you know, Munster of old. You know what I mean? Well, I was very lucky to be going around Europe with Munster, and the way the fans travel, and it seems like a bit of a reconnection. I think we mentioned it last year on the pod, Toulouse, Munster in Dublin in the Aviva, that game in the quarter-final, you know, the singing, the crowds, the atmosphere, it kind of gave us hope that kind of connection is back. But I think Graham Rowntree has done a magnificent job in acknowledging the fans and kind of connecting with the fans. And like, people might say, well, that's how did he do that? I think he just acknowledged them every time he spoke, and the supporters, and they felt that. They felt the connection with the team. He was very open and honest in all his media briefings, did loads of events. Again, with Rugby Travel Ireland, he came into the hotel on Friday night and he did sit-down Q&A, himself and Andy Kiriakou.
Did he?
Yeah, for 130 Munster fans who were there with us, with Rugby Travel Ireland.
Amazing. The night before the game.
Yeah, and he did it the last time as well. So we had the last time we were in South Africa, we had Graham and Dave Kilcoyne on the Friday night before this last Stormers game. And in Durban, we had Mike Prendergast and RG Snyman. So, and then all the coaches turned up in Durban. So they're not afraid and not kind of hiding themselves away. The players obviously acknowledging that in those first two games was really special. It just made it really special. So I met loads of people who travelled from all over the world, and of course people from Limerick, Cork, Tipperary, Waterford, people outside the province. I don't want to leave anyone out. And the passion, the singing was just amazing. To see the bus pulling into the stadium and both sides of the street lined with Munster flags, that was special. And when you're sitting on a bus as a player and you look out and you go, we're a long way from home here, and look what this means to people. So really, really special in the sense that I met so many people who would have been at my games back in 97, 98, 99, 2000, when the whole kind of momentum and journey around traveling, around European Cups, all that stuff started. I met them. We've all got a bit older, but to see the emotion and the excitement and the joy at the end of the match for those people was really special, because it means a lot. You know, they're Munster through and through. So the fans played a huge part in sticking with the team. And all season they've done that. You know, it has been a bit of a topsy-turvy season, particularly the starting point. But it's really special. We've always tried to promote the fan engagement on the podcast, which is really important because we want to give them a voice. We've had a lot of regular contributors, which is wonderful. We've had people from America, from the UK, from Australia. So it's been brilliant to have everybody listening, and so many people talking to me when I was over there, looking forward to the podcast as well. Not just at the weekend, but throughout the season. So it's been really special to kind of be part of that. And look, I don't think anyone will get carried away. We're not the done deal. But there's optimism and excitement there. And look, we probably, not just you and me, Niamh, but lots of people have to hold their hands up here and see, being realistic, none of us saw this coming. None of us saw Munster winning a trophy this early in the new coaching regime. But we saw progress. There was optimism there throughout the season. So it has been really special. Just speaking on the fan engagement, obviously, I put out a tweet to try and see what people's highlights were, pivotal moments throughout the season, star of the season, all that kind of stuff. So you can read out the reaction there. We've got a great reaction.
Yeah,
again.
so there's just beforehand, a couple of people are tweeting about your mom. So if anyone doesn't know, you put out a brilliant tweet about your mom on the homecoming night, wanting her to go home because she had been in Cape Town with you, and then the fact that no eggs had been caught yesterday morning, because I thought, you know what, for someone now who doesn't often come across very funny, Quinny, I thought that was very, very witty, very, very good. But loads of them were asking about where your mum is and did she get home okay? I thought that was hilarious. I also saw something on Twitter the other day of Fiona Murphy, and he doesn't know, she's the head of communications for Munster, and she's inside and she is in the dressing room and she's sprinkling your mother's holy water on all the jerseys before the players get in.
Well, I delivered the holy water to Fiona before the game because my mum and the Munster fans in particular were on the second level, and that was all that was concerning her Saturday morning. How am I going to get the water to the holy water to Fiona or to one of the Munster kind of coaches or something? The Leinster match 2 weeks ago, she gave it to Stephen Ferris, and he delivered it to someone called at Munster.
What a legend, Al Quinn. That's such cool.
Faze thought it was brilliant, and he kept a little bit and put a sprinkle on his own back because his back has been giving him trouble. So, but Faze thought it was brilliant. You heard Bernard Jackman for the Glasgow match talking about.
Yeah.
She gave it to Mike Prendergast for that match. But look, Fiona, this is going on for as I said, probably 25 years now, where my mother always brings the holy water. And, you know, Lord have mercy on Pat Geraghty, who was our media manager. It probably started with Pat back in the very early days, where my mum would give Pat the holy water, and Pat would go into the dressing room, sprinkle around the dressing room, sprinkle on a few players going out. A lot of the players at the time didn't know what it was. They were getting a splash of water going out the door, but Pat did it. And you know, it wasn't something that was spoken about too much, but she always brought the holy water. And you know, Pat, you said to her then, if we lost the match, that was only tap water this week. She didn't have the proper holy water. But she obviously gets the holy water. She goes on loads of trips to Fatima, San Giovanni, Rome, you name it, and she always brings home holy water. She has loads of it. So it was brilliant. And it was really special. And I think it was great to have her there because you know, she's been there from the very start as well, supporting Munster, particularly when I was playing. And that's how it all started. And with lots of other people who were there from the start, as I said as well. But Fiona got the holy water. The video went up afterwards then. And regarding my tweet, we got home on Monday morning. AJ, my son, was with me as well. We got back into Dublin. My mum and her crew were going back to Shannon from Heathrow. So we kind of split up in London. And she told me she was wrecked. And there was small mention of the homecoming. And she did say that, I'm wrecked, I'm going home to bed, and I'll have an early night. And then I got some pictures sent to me of her stuck in the middle of it again, you know, which was brilliant.
That's class.
So anyway, it was a little bit of a fib about the hens on Tuesday morning, because she was up at about 8 o'clock and the hens were all.
That was brilliant though, Quinny. I was actually like proper skating away.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Look, she loves it, and she enjoyed the trip, as did all the other Munster fans. Just before I finish on the fans, the sing song in the hotel we were in the Cullinan in Cape Town, and the sing song there every night was just unbelievable. But it was amazing. You come back Saturday night after the game, and people were having drinks in the bar, and it was full. But it was like an exhaustion there amongst people. They were just overwhelmed. It was amazing. So
emotionally drained.
Wednesday night, massive sing song. Thursday night, massive sing song. Friday night, massive sing song. And all the staff in the hotel were singing as well, and they were amazing. Like, South Africa is just the most wonderful place, and it's wonderful people. And I've always loved it there. It has its challenges, but the staff and the people in the hotel, they all joined in, and they were singing the South African national anthem. They were singing and dancing. It was amazing. Saturday night, it was like people were just exhausted. So it was unbelievable trip.
Brilliant. So along with lots of fans asking after your mom, so please give her our best wishes. Sean McCullough said, hi Quinny, had the privilege to be there and what an occasion it was. Delighted for all involved. Had a bad start to the campaign. Yes, we did. Did Graham, the coaching team, players believe it would change? Yeah, hell yes. Well done. It was a hard way on the road for 5 games in a row. Sean's an absolute gent from Nina. Liam Sheehan, impossible to pick a star of the season. So many huge performances, a number of positive indicators. Crowley got better and better. On Saturday, it looked as though we had 2 competitive front rows. Munster will be feared next season. JC, delighted for the older crew who's given blood, sweat and tears to the jersey for so many years for such little reward. Hopefully winning becomes a habit now, but either way, the Munster fans will always be behind this team. Gail says, the squad depth is superb. Coaches rewarded form to create great competition for places. Team selection must have been challenging. Le Drop and Le Bloc were highlights. Turning point was the South African game. Thrilled with silverware and title and more to come from this talented team. Dave Parks, hard grit and determination to see this away run out has been unreal. Munster attacked the Stormers every chance they got in the final and were amazing in defence. A huge thank you to the coaching staff and the team for what they have done this season. Munster are back. Richard Daly, John Klein, and think he should have gotten a call into the Irish camp. Winning the URC in year 1 is incredible. Here's hoping we drive on. Anyone got thoughts on whether we need to buy 1 or 2 for the front row with Heineken Cup in mind? Can this team win without a bigger pack for the Heineken Cup? John Tuig, star player Klein for improvement and durability, or Pete for warrior spirit and leadership. Coaching staff are trusting the players to embrace new skills and framework. Away wins over the last 6 weeks, culminating in silverware, the obvious highlight of the season. Incredible. Joe, delighted for those players approaching the latter part of their careers, but so too for the younger players. Self-belief is so important in sport. And if they push on now and keep improving, who knows what the future holds. Respect to the former Stormer fans too. A warm welcome in Cape Town. Tom Lundergan, well, we only went there and won. Massive congrats to everyone involved with Munster Rugby. Graham Rowntree and the coaching ticket have shown their top coaching pedigree and the players have bought into it. Here's to many more successful seasons of hard work, more silverware. Look, we could go on and on. There's loads, to be fair, Quinny, but we just got to keep moving on. But like everybody, it's the same thing. So talk about stars of the tournament and stars of the game and stars of the season in a bit. But Sean Klein's coming up there quite a lot. Jack Crowley, Calvin Nash. So it's been a really, really brilliant end to probably the most surreal season. It's just a surreal season for this coaching group, this playing group, hasn't it?
Amazing. It's been amazing. And look, thanks to all the fans who got involved and got in, all season have been regular contributors because we want them to have a voice. We always have done. Let's get on to the performance. So we were optimistic last week, both of us. I really felt they had a chance, but obviously for it to actually happen, you kind of go, wow, it's going to take a mammoth task and a mammoth effort to win this game, given the quality of the players and, the current internationals that they possess and that physicality. I just think, wow, it's to get the job done and to win the game and to play the way they did. So if we talk about the performance, there's no negatives anywhere this week because in analysing this, there is no negatives. Obviously, if they look at the game and, they will do, there's certain things that they could have been better with. Probably the only thing you would look at is the pressure and the scoreboard. So you think opportunities and all the possession that they had in that first half, they were just amazing. But they never, ever let Damien Willems, Angelo Davids, Leland Zass, their back three hurt them in a way that it probably hurt other teams throughout the season. If you kick loosely to the Stormers, they're incredibly dangerous in counter-attack. Both their centres, Ruinell and Dan du Plessis, we didn't see them. We actually didn't see them throughout the game. They've been brilliant for the Stormers, so consistent. I was chatting to John de Villiers before the game, and he was very impressed with du Plessis and Ruinell and thought they could be causing Munster a lot of problems. But they never gave them opportunities. Fekitoa and Anton Frisch in the centres were amazing defensively. A massive difference in defence in the last couple of weeks, really locking into tackles, harassing people, getting their numbers right. That difficult period of the Scarlets game, the Glasgow game, the Sharks game away in Europe. Fellas shooting out of the line, no connection in defence at times, teams getting offloads, getting in behind them. All that stuff was addressed. And that's what wins you trophies, you know, that defence and that kind of attitude. And it was amazing. So how impressed were you with that performance in the first half? Okay, we should have scored more, but the way they kept the ball and kept the continuity, and particularly for me, the breakdown was just unbelievable, the way they cleared players out of the ball and protected their possession.
Yeah, I thought it was incredible. Big thing for me was how calm in their aggression they were. So they were really clinical in terms of that breakdown, but they were also really calm on the ball. I think it comes down to Jack Crowley. I think his ability, his temperament, it just puts everybody around him at ease. He's constantly moving onto the ball. So he brings players with him. And so often, you know, they started the game by going out the back door and out the back door and out the back door to get the edges. And I thought, Jesus, like, this is going to be brilliant. But as the game went on, they completely changed pictures as the half went on to go into those front doors for those hard lines, to get over these soft shoulders, and then they're able to go again straight away. And you're dead right. It comes all down to that breakdown. There's been a huge shift in that mentality, I thought, over the last number of weeks in terms of the aggression and the ability, number one, in the ball carry. So their ability to fight really hard on the ground, to be able to get the ball back, to be able to get quick, but also those barrels or those cleaners out. Everything now is happening at a pace. And so often than not, if they hit a tip on before, the tip on would get isolated because the person that tips on, the two kind of cleaners are coming from the inside. Now they're working really hard once you tip the ball on to get on the outside to be able to clear that thread outside it. So it was the control that I loved. Yeah, you're 100% right. There was definitely moments in that half-time period where I was thinking, Jesus, have we done enough? Because we've left opportunities behind. I still think that Gavin Coombs try should have been a try, but you know, are we in danger of not taking our chances? But then I never felt, even in that period of the second half when the Stormers went up, I always felt Munster had another score or two in them. And I also felt that we were, unless another drastic kind of mistake, like the intercept from Frisch at the start, that I was like, I don't see the Stormers winning this. I didn't think they had enough cutting edge. I thought the pitch didn't suit them as much as it didn't suit Munster. And I just felt that Munster had more aggression, more line speed, more intensity.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I was just incredibly impressed with the way they held on to the ball and their body language and their shape. And it just didn't seem like, even when the mistakes happened or the tries were disallowed, you just felt they were going to go again and again. You know, obviously they should have scored more and they should have been further ahead. The 3 tries disallowed, people want us probably just to get our opinion on that. I think the Gavin Coombs one is a difficult one to call. He does put his hand on the ground and there's an initial stop from Marvin Orey. Some referees will give that as a try. I think if you play it in real time, it looks a little bit different. Initially, he's been stopped, and because he's hand on the ground, I'm tending to look back and not go, oh, this is a definite try, and Munster were done out of a score there. It's a tricky one. Some referees may have given it and others not. I think the referee had a really good game, Andrea Piardi. But that one for me, probably correct decision. I think the Anton Frisch one, where it looked like he knocked it on. Some people think it's his chest. I would certainly have loved if they went to look at that. the referee blew the whistle literally straight away as Shane Daly picked the ball up and scored. So I don't know. We didn't get enough of camera angles on that, but I thought Anton Frisch didn't appeal, which would maybe indicate that he might have knocked it on. So again, opportunity lost. And then obviously Peter's pass to Mike Haley, probably forward, really. So I think we don't. If we lost the game, we might have. There might be more said about them, but I think he got those decisions right. For me, the Peter one did look like it was forward. So, but it was amazing. You scored 3 tries. 3 tries were disallowed, and you end up going into the second half, and you end up 2 points behind, and you're going, wow.
I know.
And it takes till the 73rd minute to get the lead again. So it was difficult. They had a penalty before the try a few minutes, and they didn't kick it, which I thought, God, this is the one. It's going to come back to bite them. But they went to the corner.
I love the fact that they had that ambition to go to the corner, though. I think you've got to go and be brave. I think for that Peter O'Mahony try, I actually don't think. I think they never looked at the high shot on Peter O'Mahony's face, and for me, that's almost that's a card, and it's a penalty try nearly because Mike Haley's running in, and I would have a grievances to that. I did think that he missed a bit.
What do you mean the tackle on Peter O'Mahony? Yeah.
So Willems comes straight in. I don't know if you've seen it, but he's no rat.
I did see it.
I know O'Mahony's fallen, but straight away I was roaring before Haley had even scored. I was like, that's a high shot. Not to even go back and look at that, I thought that was very strange, especially when we're on this. That's a really big hot point for the refs at the moment. The fact that there was no rat. I know. Yeah, it should have been looked at, and I do think there'd be a grievance to that after that. But you're dead right, like to be able to be brave enough in the final. And it was funny. I had this thought after the Leinster La Rochelle game as well, that Leinster would have always went to the corner like Munster have all season, and then for that final day. And I understand it's cup rugby and it's final rugby, but sometimes you just can't really change what you're doing that much. And like their maul was brilliant, and they backed it. I just thought it was really, really controlled, very good game.
Particularly after the start when Anton Frisch gives the pass to Manny Libak and he scores. And I didn't like the fact that he's gone under the post and he's pointing back at Munster players. I also didn't like the fact that Herschel Yankees is screaming and shouting at Peter O'Mahony. I think people can see that online. He's screaming and shouting into Peter O'Mahony's face. It's pathetic, like. Do you know what I mean? Like, what?
Roos did it. Evan Roos did it as well at one stage when they got their next score, I think. And here's the thing: there was loads of niggle off the ball that wasn't stamped out from a Stormers' point of view, I thought. And I do think that, we've spoken about it before. We spoke about it last week and the week before about the Joseph Dweba comment in the video and stuff like that. Like, he was non-existent. And it's all well and good if you're going to be mouthy, and as long as you can back it up. And to be fair, I just think whether they used it or not, they said they didn't in terms of that video and stuff. But internally, that just gives you a little chip on your shoulder. And I felt like that Munster went after the Stormers.
So sometimes it can make a difference. I like John Dobson, their coach. He's a very nice guy. I think he was frustrated and probably disappointed that the video got out. I think we all would have reacted the same if you get a home final like they would have. Really, that they didn't have to travel again. I understood that, and I understood the emotion that you're at home and you would show that. Obviously, Joseph Dweba's comments, again, it's one of those comments you make, and I didn't read a huge amount into it, but what it does do, Niamh, and I've always felt this as a player, if you say something, I'm always nervous about karma, that it can come back to bite you a little bit. And it does. It has a funny way of doing that. If you, like Rog did it years ago over in Leicester, he spoke about the Premiership. And I always reference this one about it not being as strong as they're making it out to be. And we were going to play Leicester and we were all, God, why did you do that, Rog? That's giving them motivation. But he's kicking a penalty from the halfway line to win the game for us. And he's player of the match afterwards. And he's inside and with the journalist basically saying, yeah, well, sure, I told you so. So sometimes it can work in your favour. That was an incredibly strong Stormer side, and very athletic, very powerful, score a lot of tries. So, and I just thought that it was probably something they didn't need from a coaching point of view, that they didn't need to address that. But look, I think the sportsmanship, like as annoying as I probably was as a player in the field, I never grigged anyone after we scored a try, because I immediately always thought, if I start running and doing that, and it wasn't in me anyway to do that, you could be the one with egg in your face at the end of that game. You know what I mean? You're just opening the door for somebody to come back at you. Now, I thought Peter didn't react, which was surprising, as Peter is fiery. And I didn't see him, obviously he went off, but I just thought it was a little bit immature from Yankees and a bit silly, because that can come back to bite you. And it was just a case of Munster were steely. And I think you said it at the start of this. They had a composure and a control fury about them. They were incredibly aggressive at the breakdown and physically making their tackles, but they didn't really react to stuff. And there was no real, I didn't think there was any real niggle there. I just thought there was a few silly things that could have been picked up. Just on the stats, incredibly, Munster go away from home, 60% possession, scored 3 tries, 7 clean breaks as to 5 for the Stormers. This is the one I highlighted, a couple of them. Defenders beaten, which really adds to what we're trying to say all year about the attack, the expansion, the confidence to take on people and run out opposition, which, let's be honest, the previous regime, really, we didn't see it. We didn't see it. And the reality of what this team has done is down to good coaching as well. Obviously, the players have stepped up, but the coaching has made a massive difference. And we hear that continuously coming out. It's a happy camp. So it begs the question, what was going on the last few years? Defenders beaten, 34 defenders beaten as opposed to 9 for the Stormers. So that's one that indicates that. 12 offloads, that's relatively low for Munster, given, they've been a lot higher this year. So 12 offloads, Stormers had 19, 57% territory, which is really important. Munster had to only make 89 tackles in the game, as opposed to the Stormers 191. They missed 9 tackles. Stormers missed 34. Munster won 7 turnovers in the game. And I think this is a really brilliant one as well from the first half. Conor Murray's kicking. His box kicking was superb.
I'm so glad you said it.
And the 2 wingers chasing, Calvin Nash in particular on his side, phenomenal pressure. I thought he was amazing, Calvin Nash, Shane Daly as well. So 6 kicks retained. That's a big number. Yeah. Now, Munster gave away 13 penalties as opposed to 5. So that was probably a bit higher than what they would have wanted. There was a couple of them, 2 of them were blocks in line out. Ty Byrne going in behind the lift, and Jeremy Lockman, the other one, then the Jack Crowley one. So there was a couple there that were avoidable probably. But those stats are unbelievable. So just a quick word on Conor Murray, because we've got to move on to the start of the week. Phenomenal performance and kicking from him. I just thought it was really important that Munster, they got the ball back off the Stormers, and that kick chase, there was a hunger and a desire there around that. So really important for him. And obviously Craig Casey comes on and he adds that zip and pace, which led to that try, which was phenomenal. Just on the try at the end, we can't go through every piece of the game in detail. So Dermot Barnes scores with the maul, brilliant. Calvin Nash, the crossfield kick, superb execution. Again, Willemse lucky there that they didn't show that again and they didn't go back for a penalty. He slid in with the knee.
Slid in, yeah.
The winning try came from work rate, desire, honesty, never giving up. And that was epitomised by Gavin Coombs blocking down Manny Libok. So I think Gavin Coombs has been phenomenal this year as well. And I think parts of his game that have improved massively are his off-the-ball stuff. He's tackling, he's cleaning out at breakdowns, he's pressuring the opposition. So on another day, he can give up there. Manny Libok steps the first Munster player putting pressure. And then Coombs gets a block on that ball. It lands straight into Craig Casey's hands, and Munster go on the attack, and John Hodnett scores. So I want people to go back and look at that and see what Gavin Coombs did there. in making
So-
that block. How important it was. It was amazing, and it led to
Yeah,
that
and
match-winning try.
it's funny. When I watched back on Sunday morning, so Ben Healy kicks that, and Ben Healy chases it. But right as Ben Healy kicks it, Gavin Coombs is actually standing right behind him, and he out sprints. It's like the 70th odd minute, out sprints the Stormers players to when Libbok steps Ben Healy to go back on his right foot. He's there for the block, and like if anybody's been following their social media over the last few days, he's turning up blocking stuff, blocking bridges in Killaloe and blocking Thomond Park and Le Block, they're calling it, and I think it's brilliant and it's great. But you're dead right, it's sheer work rate, and you know what? It's almost night and day in terms of, we talk about Jean Klein and all, and these players that have literally transformed their abilities, and they've been given the confidence to play. Gavin Coombs playing the November Maori game with Ireland Day or whatever it was, to where Gavin Coombs finished the season is night and day. His ability, we always know he's powerful and he's strong and he's got really good ball carrying skills, but you're dead right. It's everything else that's come that that he's come up in everything. It's his work rate, it's his involvement. So before we'd see him carry, we might not see him again for a couple of phases. Now he's carrying. He's now the next clear out. He's the next carrier. He's the next clear out. And players like that, we don't like. We need him to be involved in everything because he is so strong and he's so good and he's so powerful. So brilliant. Yeah, super. Some tried it.
Right.
13 players touch the ball.
Right across the board there at the end, and throughout the whole game, the breakdown, the enthusiasm, the energy, and the fitness level of the players to just clean out Stormers, potential poachers. Dion Ferry, who we spoke about last week, and everyone knows how good he is at the breakdown, never got near the ball. So the breakdown was amazing. Peter O'Mahony, Conor Murray, Keith Earl, Stephen Archer, they were there the last time Munster won a trophy. So it was unbelievably special to see them. They've trudged a long road, had many disappointments, and it was brilliant that they've finally been rewarded. Okay, we've got to move on quickly. And the fitness thing. Obviously, the fitness at the start of the season is down to new way of playing, shorter pre-season, probably the emerging Ireland tour, injuries, all that stuff didn't help Munster at the start. But look at the fitness level now; it's phenomenal and it's through the roof. And the way they're playing personifies that. Star of the week for me, John Hodnett. Obviously, he got man of the match. Unbelievable player. So unlucky not to be in the Irish squad. I think he put in an amazing performance. People asked me in South Africa, look, why wasn't R.G. Snyman starting? And because I think it was maybe down to him not playing a lot in the last few weeks and the 2 head knocks he got. That was the first thing. But the second point of that was John Hodnett doesn't play if R.G. Snyman starts. And I think Munster recognised that, and it was proven right. His performance throughout the whole game, tackles, clean-outs, carries, phenomenal. Star of the season, quickly, Niamh. There's many. You spoke about Coombs, you spoke about Nash, Daly, Stephen Archer. What an unbelievable run for him in the last few weeks. Making little pop passes on the inside, making half line breaks, phenomenal. And obviously the most important part of that was the scrum. And I thought Salano and Wycherley, when they came on as well, there was a couple of really vital scrums. They got parity, but Stephen Archer is amazing. Conor Murray's form the second half of the season has been brilliant. Malachi Fekitoa, what a turnaround from what we saw to start. He's been unbelievable.
It's almost like the day they announced that he wasn't, he was moving on at the end of the season. It was like a pressure off valve release. I don't know what it was. But he was incredible. He's been incredible over the last few weeks. He was brilliant again on Saturday. And I know, obviously, John Hodnett gets player of the match, and what a brilliant interview afterwards. But Malefacto is very close to me. His work rate was outstanding. So, yeah, look, Star, you know what I mean? You still talk about Jack Crowley as well. But I think we spoke about it beforehand. I think we can't go with anybody other than who's your favourite player.
Well, I didn't name him there, and that's little those mentions there. But John Klein for me, he sums up everything that I love in a player: is that work rate, that honesty, that passion, Never given up. I think he's played 19 or 20 games or started 19 or 20. He's been ever present. I don't know the exact number, but he's been there through thick and thin. Been questioned before, probably about some of his performances. Selection in 2019 to the World Cup. There was a good cohort of people, give out about that. His selection over Devon Toner at the time. And he struggled probably a little bit, but his game has grown. And I think you can see the impact that the new way Munster are playing and the coaches have had on him. But I just love his honesty, carrying hard yards, all that kind of stuff. So very unlucky not to be in the Irish squad.
And to be fair, Quinny,
right?
Stars
of the week.
To be fair, so I'd be 100% John Clyde's I'll start the season. But in terms of the Irish context, it's funny. It's to be fair, Munster haven't had a lot of success over the last few years. So when squads get announced, there's not a huge amount of people clamouring for, like outside of Munster, clamouring for. Jean Klein's name was on everybody's lips yesterday in relation to that missing out in that squad. And like I think it was always going to be really difficult for any bolter to get in there, considering the year that Ireland have had. And yes, Munster have had loads of really good performances over the last few weeks. But we're talking about a project since 2019 for Andy Farrell and his coaching ticket, and talking about, the core bulk of that squad will have been together. So it's only layering messages as opposed to starting anew. And I think that's people kind of forget about that. And yes, I think Jean Klein's been very unlucky, but also, when you're coming in out of the cold like that into a squad, it's a very difficult thing to do a couple of months before a World Cup.
And I think that's the reason he's not there, which is,
yeah.
I don't know if it's fully justified, but I get it. I understand it. There's a system there. It's a different system. And
he's eligible to play for South Africa again.
You see, it's a short window between now and September and the training camps to get up to speed. But look, I think he's still be on the fringes, as will John Hadnett, as will Shane Daly. I think it's been an incredible run to the end of the season. Mike Haley was brilliant as well. But you know what? To see O'Mahony, Murray, Earls, Archer, these guys, that was really special. I got emotional at the end of it. It was just phenomenal. It was really, really special. And, we never thought this. We never thought this. What do they need to do to build on this? It's probably too early to say that. John Ryan is coming back. Alex Nankivell from the Chiefs. Sean O'Brien. I think if we were both to ask who would we like to see progressing, you said it's, you spoke about a Dogbo, Thomas Ahern, probably young players that are coming through. Alex Kendellen has really matured as well. Dermot Byrne, unbelievable. So probably a Dogbo and Thomas Ahern, they're exciting prospects to come through, and hopefully we'll see a lot more of them next season.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, there's lots of young guys coming through, Patrick Campbell as well. But for me, you see them around training and stuff like that, and they're absolutely massive men. They're RG kind of esque in terms of their stature, and we don't have a huge amount of players of that profile. So you're kind of hoping for an injury-free season for them and a good run, consistent run. And the way that coaching ticket work, if you're racking up training and you're training well, then you'll play. So yeah, look, I think it's all in their hands now over the summer. So it'll be interesting to see how they can layer this game and what they're trying to do going forward. But there's lots of positives.
I keep saying the word unbelievable because that's probably my favorite word to use. But it's unbelievable that Munster are the URC champions. I think they were. It just goes to show if you don't give up and you keep sticking at it, they finished 5th in the league. People didn't see this coming. Final kind of word on the coaches, the effect and impact that Graham Rowntree has made, Mike Prendergast, Andy Kiriakou, Dennis Leamy, and I probably haven't mentioned George Murray as well. George is involved in the kicking strategy and as a kicking coach there as well. To see that coach's box at the end, and from being a coach, that just makes it all worthwhile. All the sacrifice, the work, the effort that you put in. And Graham Rowntree said it. This was my best moment ever in rugby. they have been absolutely phenomenal, I think, and it's just amazing to see the impact they've had on this group. I kind of keep saying it with a little bit of caution for any Leinster fans or Ulster or Connacht fans who are saying, oh, Munster are getting carried away. We're not. We love the fact that we've won a trophy finally, but we do know there's more to come. We need to get better. We want to do it in Europe. We want this team to go and be a contender in Europe, and there's more depth needed. There's probably, but I also love the fact, Niamh, that there's players here who have gone to a different level. They've shown us something, that their potential, that they can compete at this higher level. Some of these players have been questioned in the last couple of years. Some of it justified, some of it not. But we're now seeing them flourish and enjoy it and play to their potential. And I think that's down to the coaching. They've done a remarkable job.
Yeah, huge. Look, obviously incredibly astute and very smart in how they went about their business and getting players to buy in when there were moments of probably doubt in relation to where they were going, what they were doing over the first 5 games, and that's probably been the biggest thing. But the culture that they drive, the standards that they expect, we see players that are superstars in their own making and not make any 23 over the last number of weeks because they're obviously not performing at training, or they don't fit the bill, or it's not the right connection for that week, or whatever it is. And everybody's equal. And I think that when you create an environment like that, it makes it all, you know what I mean? It makes players all kind of fill in and buy into what you're doing. So so smart, really, really good, and a great group. And I'm just delighted for them.
Yeah, really special, and they can enjoy it now. Everyone in the organisation can enjoy it, and bask in a little bit of glory. We'll look forward to the World Cup coming up, and we'll talk about Ireland a little bit when we get back up and running. Unfortunately, we have a bit of sad news and I hate goodbyes, but look, you'll come on as a guest with us a few times next year, but because of your job and your commitments, this is your last Red 78. So I want to thank you for being part of this little project and the podcast. It's been brilliant having you, your knowledge, your insights, your wit, and always trying to slag me. But it's been brilliant. So look, thank you so much, Niamh. I don't know if you want to say goodbye to the fans, but you're not going away too far, and there's no need for any sort of emotion. Don't start crying on me now. But look, I want to thank you. We will get you on as a guest, and so don't think you're getting off scot-free and you're going to disappear now and not come on. But we certainly want to know more about what's happening in the women's game going forward. So that's going to be really important as well for us. So look, thanks a million for everything. Do you want to say a quick goodbye or?
No, look, thanks to you. We've had a really good ball. We've become right good besties since we started. And yeah, look, the fans have been incredible. The engagement that we've had from this, I didn't really see it working as well as it did. So it's been incredible. So yeah, thanks a million.
Okay, that's it for episode 73, the Red 78. Thanks again to everyone for listening all season, and we'll be back at it soon, and look for more fan engagements. Have a great summer, and up Munster.
The Red 78 with Quinlan and Niamh Briggs. Nobody knows Munster rugby better.
I'd like to think I know a lot.